The activity going to be taking place around the perimeter is for that young man there, 18-year-old Luke Bryan, who's suffered tragic injuries in a game of rugby. He's now paralysed from the neck downwards, and a lot of fundraising has been going on to assist this young man. A 10-mile passathon in conjunction obviously with Haydock Amateur Rugby League Club and St Helens Rugby League Club. David Howe's been very instrumental in getting this thing going, and they've had a 10-mile passathon from up the Vista Road, Peely Road, down to Knowsley Road in aid of Luke. As I say, he was seriously injured last October, and Luke has been receiving treatment, and as far as I know, he still is in the Southport Spinal Unit. He's been released today, obviously, to attend here. They've come all the way from Haydock. They're going round the pitch here now, passing the ball. Luke is going to receive the final pass. As far as I'm aware, he's still on a special ventilator, a portable ventilator there. But obviously it takes a lot of guts to come down here in front of a big crowd. But a lot of people are doing a lot of work for this young fella. And let's hope it makes his life that bit easier. You find out that teams, both professional and amateur, rally round for a cause like this bone-crunching sport of ours, with very few serious injuries, but they do occur. Final pass coming to Luke Bryan himself. All the way from Haydock, right through to Knowsley Road, along the line, the final pass to Luke himself. A brave young man. We wish him well. Sammy Bryan, Luke's knees there, taking the ball from Luke and placed it on the centre spot for today's match, which hopefully Luke will be watching. Welcome to Knowsley Road for this afternoon's Stones Bitter League clash. The Warrington Wolves take the arena first. Obviously they're on song, having started off poor this season, 3 defeats, but now they've come back with 3 wins from the last 3 games. They're going to have it tough here against the Saints this afternoon, and we're just awaiting the Saints to come on the park.
Saints just waiting to come out, the crowd expectantly, waiting for the Saints side. The Warrington team already limbering up there. They did have a bit of a limber up about 5 minutes ago. The St Helens are coming out now, so I'll hand over to Ron for it.
Here's the Saints being led out by the brothers Breody. Carl James Breody, 10 years of age, attends Eccleston Lane End School, and his brother Mark Gareth Breody, 8 years of age, also from Eccleston Lane End School. Third in the centre of your pitch, 2 bonny lads, aren't they? Both the favourite players are Apollo Perolini. Unfortunately, he's out injured today, but it's a big day for Carl James and Mark Gareth Breody. They're with the captain, Bobby Golding. Anyway, I'll just run through the sides for you now. St Helens, Prescott, Arnold, Hunt, Newlove, Sullivan, Martin and Golding, the half-back pairing. Apollo Perolini injured, so we have Andy Leatham in. Kieran Cunningham, Julian O'Neill in the front row. Chris Joynt, Chris Morley, Carl Hammond, with Andy Northey, Andy Haig, Paul Anderson, Via Matauti on the bench. The Warrington side, Vagana, Forster, Coylove, Roper, Henari, Shelford, Breers, Stevens, Hume, Chambers, Tatupu, Mann, Sculthorpe, with Rudd, Knott, Finau and Derbyshire on the bench. You're with Micron Video. Joining me in the commentary position is Jim Kidd. My name's Ron Hoof. We should have an exciting tie here today. Saints have the first possession. So once again, Saints move it across. Andy Leatham, well taken there. Bobby Golding puts the boot to the ball, puts it downfield, and Henari is chasing it.
It's Henari for his first touch. Trying to get away, going towards the post, still going in Henari. Just tackle there. About 10 yards out. A good tackle by Bobby Golding. And it's with the wide fullback Nigel Vigana. 7 tries in 3 games, but he reverts the fullback, of course, owing to the injury to Lee Penny. And it's Gary Chambers coming forward, so it's going to be a difficult game for Warrington. Chambers does well, gets the ball away onto Richard Inari. But it's Toa Coylove. Tackle there just outside the 20. The Warrington skipper on a venture to Shelford. Shelford's still going forward. He runs into Sculthorpe. The referee gives a penalty immediately, offside. And it's the first game, of course, for Lee Breers, just signed for £65,000 from St Helens. His first game, and when the teams were announced, he got a round boo from the crowd, as you would expect. Chambers again, coming in very quickly. Taken out by Tommy Martin. That's 3-man tackle. Puts the Warrington skipper Paul Hume at dummy half, on to Shelford. Shelford this time onto Warren Stevens, who's had an extended run in the first team this term, and really is a good prospect. Onto Shelford again. Little kick ahead by Shelford. Going towards the try line, that bounces back. Taken, in fact, by Sculthorpe. Just tackle short, only a tackle left. Warrington going towards the try line, but some good tackling there from St Helens. That was a good kick from Shelford, taken very well indeed by Sculthorpe. On again to Breers. Breers this time on a George Mann. George Mann slips inside. That's the last tackle. What are we going to see? Are we going to see a kick? In fact, it's the last tackle. That's going to be a penalty to St Helens. Interference there at the play of the ball. So a bright opening to this game, Ron.
It certainly is, Jim. Obviously not getting up before he actually played the ball. Let's hope he's consistent throughout the match, Jim. That's all we can ask, isn't it? I suppose after 2 indifferent performances, the Saints entertaining Warrington here in only the 3rd home tie here in the Super League this season. In the 7th game of the season, as Andy Leatham takes the ball up. Saints clinching the inaugural Super League title here against the lacklustre Warrington by 66 points to 14. As Alan Hunt breaks through, he's only Regana to beat. Hunt runs him in and out. Super stuff. Oh, what about that? Super stuff, but Alan Hunt's pulled a hamstring. He's limping there. Well, I'm hoping he's not pulled a hamstring, but he's got a strain. For 3 minutes gone of the game, and what a start. After Warrington putting plenty of pressure on the Saints there. Warrington nearly in for a try with her attacking set of 6. And then the penalty. Ground game by the Saints, and then it all came from that, didn't it? Good driving up. Saints had to move it crossfield. Andy Leatham taking the tackle. Then it was moved over to the right flank. Great work there once again. Crisp handling. Morley, lovely ball to Hunt. He put the welly down. Away he went up the right flank. Jinked in and out. Sidestep past Vergana. Vergana tried to tap his ankles, couldn't take him, and Hunt went down, but he's pulled something there in the leg area. And let's hope it's not too serious. A great start there by the Saints, and a chance for Bobby Golding obviously to put 2 extra points on, but Alan Hunt coming off here straight away. Saints leading try scorer with 15, but unfortunately hamstring there, and let's hope he can get ready for next Sunday, and obviously the next game after that, which is Wembley.
Yeah, that really was a super try in the opening 5 minutes for St Helens, just after Warrington very nearly scored, but Alan Hunt came through beautifully, a good 75-80 yard try, but I think he's done his hamstring. He's not happy, he's come off, and Andy Haig has in fact come off for the Saints. So the Warrington Wolves have got it all to do here at Knowsley Road. They've conceded a lot of points over the past couple of years here. In fact, the last game I commentated on the gantry, St Helens won 80 points to 0, and I hardly had the microphone in my hands at all. But Warrington in possession, 6-0 down. They've got to regroup. It's not going to be easy for them here, and Warrington really at 6s and 7s at the moment as Lee Breers comes forward. The referee going to give a penalty there again, trying to hook the ball out. A penalty to Warrington. It's 6-0 for Saints after only 5 minutes play, and that really was a super try. That's Sculthorpe for the first phase of the penalty. So Warrington want to hit back as fast as they can. Gary Chambers coming in at pace. He's put down there midway between the 20 and the halfway line, and again Warren Stevens, but the tackling is good from St Helens. They've had a couple of games where they've not been that good apparently, according to Ron, but they always seem to raise the game against Warrington. George Mann, ex-St Helens of course. Warrington trying to get in the St Helens half of the field. That's Breers, that's onto Tutupu. Warrington making ground forward, put the 6-0 down. Onto Breers again. Breers to Shelford. Shelford spinning around, trying to get the ball away, but it's clamped. That's the last tackle. And we're looking for a kick here. Breers goes inside, but one up in the air by Breers. Goes into the box. Taken very well indeed by Prescott. Bit of a high tackle. Referee's going to be in there immediately and have a chat to Mark Foster. Mark Foster gets one on the head there. Ball thrown at him. So it really is all action here. At St Helens. It's going to be Tommy Martin. Father, of course, used to play for Warrington. Left-footed kicker. Right over the stand. Of Saints back in possession, Ron.
Yes, not a lot in that when Prescott, when he took the ball. Plenty of oohs and ahs as you'd expect, but no maliciousness in it. Chris Morley up the centre, up to the halfway line. As I said before, Warrington on a roll. The last 3 matches they've won. Saints' last 2 matches have been so-so. The Saints build up again. Kieran Cunningham looking for support. Andy Haig was coming through. The ball couldn't be released. Now Saints moving to the left with Warrington moving up quickly. Newlock sides through. Oh, that's super stuff. Well, it's easy, isn't it? My word. After being out for 2 matches, and Paul Newlock there, but that's great feeding by the Saints as they move it along. The popular side faithful say we are the champions, and rightly so. We're just letting them know. Saints play the ball, Cunningham scampering away, moving it over to the right-hand side. Then the transference of play, came back over to the left. Golding along the line, Hammond cut out past there to Newlock. He bisects the 2 players there, shimmies in and out again, and past Vergana. And I think, Jim, this Vergana, he's having a bit of a nightmare. When I saw him at full-back, I thought he's definitely out of place. As you say, 7 tries in 3 games, and you can't afford to have a player there languishing at full-back, can you, Jim?
That's quite right. I think Vergana's best position is either at stand-off or in the centre, but quite right. The kick's missed, in fact, by Bobby Golding, so it's 10-0 after only 8 minutes play, and Warrington really have got a mountain to climb already. that they're going to get the ball back, presumably from the kick-off, but that was Newlove scything through the Warrington defence, and the Warrington fullback didn't really get anywhere near him. And Newlove did a good sidestep inside, just to the left of the post, but goal points not added on. And it's going to be Gary Chambers coming forward, trying to get out the 20. Warrington 10-0 down already, 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes for St Helens. And how many times have we seen this at Knowsley Road against Warrington? St Helens coming in with a vengeance at the play of the ball. And it's to Tupu, getting the ball away onto Roper. Roper's still spinning about. Warrington making good ground forward there, just after 2 tackles, but they need to get over the try line very quickly indeed, otherwise it could all be over for them. Toa Koilov, centre field. Warrington have made a good 40 yards there in 3 tackles onto Sculthorpe. Little kick ahead by Sculthorpe. Lex Garner linking up from full-back. The ball taken well by Prescott. Prescott still going. And Warrington missing tackles all over the place, Ron.
Yes, brilliantly taken by Prescott. And then Sculthorpe coming back, completed the tackling. But Warrington hanging on too long. Golding takes it quickly. The Saints have got the bit between the teeth now. 10-0 up. Only 8 minutes gone. Well, 10 minutes gone now on the clock. Hammond again. Short ball there to Haig. Well tackled by the wire this time. Well, the Wolves, as they're known now. Morley has the ball reaped out, but Warrington already been penalised for being in an offside position. And another penalty to the Saints. They look hungry this afternoon. And I would imagine they are hungry, especially after the last 2 performances. And Sean McRae will have given them the rounds of the kitchen. 10 metres from the Warrington line. Saints restart. Andy Leatham ducks under the first tackle, the first challenge. Cunningham scampering away, slips it out to O'Neill. O'Neill looking for his first, and he gets it! Julian O'Neill, the big prop, dives over. For the big Kiwi, Julian O'Neill, the ex-Auckland Warrior. Powers over there at short range, and this Warrington defence shot to pieces. Let's see Bobby Golding's fortunes can be a little better on the correct side for him this time. Right-footed kicker. Is he going to float it in? Is it hanging? Well, oh, it's hit the post again and gone away, but 14-0. Obviously, Jim, I mean, after 3 wins and against Wigan, Oldham and Castleford, I mean, and they're no great shakes, really, are they? Bottom of the league opponents, them, all 3 of them. But you must have had your dander up. But a great start by the Saints. As I said, 2 games pretty indifferent, and they'll have had the rounds of the kitchen by Sean McRae. They know they've got to get back in winning ways. Castleford at Anfield next week, and then the cup final, Jim.
Yeah, and I think Warrington are going to get the round of the houses as well from Darren Velde because the tackling is poor up to now. And he did say that he wanted to stiffen the Warrington tackling up. He hasn't managed to do it as yet. Having said that, they played well last week, but as Ron said, against bottom of the table opponents, Paul Hume leading by example as he always does, the Warrington captain. Onto Toa Koilov, onto Stevens, taken there by the Warrington loose forward Sculthorpe. Good play from Warrington there, but they're 14-0 down after only 13 minutes play. And this time it's Tupu. Tupu still going forward. He must hand the ball on. Tupu really would have been better advised, I think, to hand that ball on, but he didn't. It's the last tackle. Shelford spinning around again onto Stevens. Stevens trying to get the ball away, but really a try went begging there on. Warrington really did deserve to score then. I think Tupu should have handed it on to Roper, but didn't.
Yes, great break by the Wolves there. Should have gone straight away, I think, Jim, shouldn't it? Obviously easy for us to say up here, but it looked to try all the way to Tupu, with men on his left. He brought it back inside, he gave a great dummy, which was taken. And then the last tackle sits with the turnover, and they're making good yardage as well. Cunningham scampering upfield. Good drive by the Saints, obviously without Derek McVie, Apollo Perolini, Ian Pickervance, all vying for positions for the Wembley squad. Newlove there back after 2 matches out with a groin injury, and Tommy Martin A rare, uncharacteristic mistake from him, finding touch on the full. So the Wolves will restart 10 metres inside the Saints' half.
That's the first mistake I think Saints have made this afternoon. But Warrington are making ground forward well, but really should have been on the scoreboard already, possibly twice. George Mann. Good break from George Mann, just gets in the 22. So Warrington not overawed. On to Breers. Breers this time a long pass on the Shelf, but Shelf is still going, centre field. Doubles back inside, just tackled, just inside the 22. Sculthorpe this time onto Breers. Breers onto Tutupu, just manages to hold that ball, gets it away again. Onto Sculthorpe, but Warrington finding it difficult inside the 20 to make any ground forward. 14-0 down, 15 minutes gone. Warrington really do need a try. Breers again, onto Warren Stevens. Warren Stevens met by a reception committee, but still going forward, held in an upright tackle. That's the last tackle, referee not happy with that, gets involved immediately. Breers again, little kick inside by Breers, going over the try line, taken by Prescott, and Prescott does well. Prescott does really well to get out of the try line, and Saints still back in possession.
Yeah, super play by Prescott, playing out of his skin. Warrington penalised for holding down at the tackle. Referee Russell Smith moving in quickly. Lee Breers putting a little deft kick through there. And Warrington have done some good business this week, I think, with Breers. Obviously playing in for the Saints when Golding was suspended. And he's gone to Warrington on a 4-year deal worth about 70 grand. As Saints move it out, Andy Haig breaks through the cover defence, Haig's up again. Another man that's had his own fair share of injury. Saints spreading it, running this Warrington side ragged, moving it from left to right. And now the vice-captain, Chris Joynt, takes it up into Warrington territory. Cunningham from dummy half, Leatham, solid player, good strong driving run. He's only about 18, this lad, 18 and 19, Andy Leatham, more or less the forgotten man here at Nosey Road. Through injury, but Hammond to Martin, Martin scampering away, Martin still going, oh look at that, that's a superb try, and doesn't Tommy Martin love that? It's fourth try, and Tommy Martin over there. Good break there, Andy Haig started us off there just short of the halfway line. The ball moved inside, along the line, Golding, then inside to Chris Joynt. Chris Joynt just inside Warrington territory. Once again, Leatham taking the ball up. Cunningham, Hammond, great work from Hammond, slipped it to Martin. There was no way that Martin was going to get through. 2, 3, 4 tacklers just dropped off Tommy Martin, right under the sticks. Bobby Golding just converted the Martin try. 4 tries, 2 goals, 20 points to nil, Jim, after 17 minutes. As Warrington received possession again, can they do anything with it?
Sculthorpe back on again to Gary Chambers. The Warrington tackling there appalling, really was appalling, just close to the line. They've got to do something about that. Paul Hume using the other side, coming out on his own, just about 10 yards from the 20. 20 points to nil with 18 minutes gone. Warrington really got a mountain to climb here and are reaping a whirlwind at the moment as St Helens are spreading the ball left and right, and Warrington are not putting the ball carrier down. George Mann, Warrington now trying to spin it around. Nigel Vagana, bit of a loss at fullback, I think, is Vagana. That ball eventually in the arms of Sculthorpe, but Warrington not making too much ground forward there. Warren Stevens trying to straighten up. Good run from Stevens. A good 10 yards forward. Tackle there by 3 St Helens players. But Warrington 20-0 down. I've got to get over the try line very quickly, otherwise this game's going to all be over before it's even begun. Toa Coelho, the tackling good on the far side. John Roper. What's the referee's decision? Is it a knock-on? I'm not certain. It's a scrum down. It's going to be St Helens head and ball, so Warrington can't make any ground forward then. But with a quarter of the game gone, Warrington have lost 20 points already, and St Helens look as if they can make ground at will, Ron. The ball in the pack. It's out on the narrow side. And Warrington have got to come in much more quickly now to play the ball, otherwise they're going to concede even more points.
Yes, you're right there, Jim. The tackling has been abysmal. Saints' attacking play has been tremendous. After your three, more or less your three ball players, Hammond, Martin and Golding, have not fired as much as we know they can do. But Cunningham there, still going through, carrying through, stepping out of the tackles, up to the 20. My word, Saints are on song here, aren't they? Prescott tidies it up, now it's with Newland, sidesteps, Newland's up again! Another try here, Sullivan in the corner, put that down to Newland, but 20 minutes gone, and Sullivan in. Well, the popular side faithful erupt again. On the far side, in Saints territory, a scrum down, head and feet to Saints. The ball was brought upfield, taken up the short side. Then Cunningham, watch him go, in and out, through the tacklers. Off Sculthorpe, bounces through again, up to the 20-metre line. And then the ball moved over to the left here. Golding missed it, Prescott tidied it up, slipped it to Newland, sidesteps infield. Drew Garner in the full-back, slipped it to Sullivan, easy isn't it? Like shelling peas, piece of cake. And Bobby Golding, as I said before, on the right side for the right-footed kicker. I was wrong there, Jim, this is the right side for the right-footed kicker, isn't it? I mean, you've only a choice of two. You could have told me, Jim, you don't have to agree with me, my mate. You've only a choice of two and I got it wrong again. So Bobby Golding, that's better, that's it. Lickham and Stickham, right between the uprights. Another 6 points to the Saints. 26 points to 0. And you couldn't have imagined this, Jim, could you?
Oh yes I could, I remember 2 years ago. And Warrington have got Chris Rudd on, I think also Salacey Fina I think has come on as well. Can't quite see him at the moment, but Warrington certainly brought up Warren Stevens. Sculthorpe again. And here is Salacey Fina for his first touch. Taken out immediately. The referee involved. Who's he going to talk to? Not quite certain. I think he might be Chris Joint, claiming that Salacey Fina went in with the elbow raised. And I think Toa Coelho has come off for Warrington as well. And Chris Rudd's on. Warrington really would be better advised, I think, to put Chris Rudd at fullback, but it is in fact a penalty to St Helens, because Salacey Fina obviously did come in with his elbow raised, and that's what the St Helens players were complaining about to the referee. So it's going to be another kick, this time for Bobby Goulding. Is he going to take a kick at goal, or is it going to be a tap? In fact, he's tapping. And away Saints go. Referee not happy with that. He's going to have a word with Goulding. Goulding arguing with the referee. I don't know whether Goulding said he'd elected to go for goal, but the referee's given a penalty to Warrington. Paul Sculthorpe slices off the boot. Everything going wrong for Warrington at the moment. And Gary Chambers coming forward. Good 5 yards made by Gary Chambers. Warrington 26-0 down after just 23 minutes. So what a mountain they've got to climb. Warrington skipper at dummy half into open play. This time it's on to Tutupu. St Helens tackling good. But Warrington have conceded 5 tries in the opening 23 minutes. Nigel Bagana coming up from fullback. And Chris Rudd, I think, has gone into the right centre berth. Warrington in attacking formation, but St Helens coming in so quickly, and Bryce gets that tackle as soon as he's got the ball. Warrington using the narrow side onto Sculthorpe. Taken this time by Prescott. What's the Warrington chase like? Warrington chase is good, and Prescott tackled just in front of the post.
Yes, he's covering well, Prescott. He's been asked to cover well, and he has done. Sullivan coming in field, looking for a piece of the action, but Chris Joint up to the 20. Saints making good yardage with every tackle put on them. O'Neill moves it over to that right flank. O'Neill once again. He's another player that was supposedly going to Warrington. was O'Neill, and typical a la Alex Murphy style, after he decided to join Saints, Alex said that he was interested in this Dallas Mead, who was better than O'Neill. But unfortunately, Dallas Mead injured as Newell goes over again. Sullivan inside. Wakama takes the tackle. The pass was too early there, I think. As he turned it inside, the referee has penalised Warrington. Somebody spoke now to turn. At another 10 metres. He said it was a high tackle on Sullivan. The ball, Newell again creating space, Jim. Slipped it inside, maybe too early as Sullivan had got inside. There wasn't a lot of room on the flank. But it didn't look too bad from here, the actual tackle, but the referee moved in, said it was high. Somebody spoke out of turn, and the wire penalised again, Jim.
Yeah, so the Warrington discipline not quite up to it there, but every time Newell gets the ball, he makes ground. He's made 3 breaks already. He's only had the ball 4 times, I think. But it's going to be Bobby Golding, just to the left of the post, about 12 yards to the left. Not a difficult kick, really. One wouldn't imagine for a kicker of his ability and skill. 26-0. This will make it 28-0. Just 25 minutes gone. So still 15 minutes to go to half-time. Right between the posts for St Helens. St Helens 28 points, Warrington 0. One wonders what the Warrington coaching staff are going to say at half-time, because even if it remains at 28-0, it's still a disaster. Good kick from Goulding, taken well by Shelford. Onto Fee now. First man in. Strong player is Sir Lacey Fee now. Very often does play on the bench. He comes on normally just before half-time for a spell, and then for about 20 minutes in the second half. Gary Chambers spinning back inside onto Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe surrounded by St Helens players, can't get the ball away. Chambers again, using the narrow side this time. Tackle well, taken out by Julian O'Neill. Or John O'Neill, should I say. Knock on. Everything going wrong for Warrington at the moment. That was a poor pass, it was much too high. So St Helens have got a chance for another try. And one could say that St Helens look at the moment, Ron, as if they can score at will.
They certainly do, Jim. It's great to be back, obviously, to the rugby that we are accustomed to. I know you've had a bad start and then won 3, but you're up against the Kosh today. New coach, Daryl van der Velde. He'll not be pleased. Obviously, he wants discipline, tackling and everything. But he won't lose any more hair over it, will he, Jim? Joint, straightened it up. George Mann, ex-Saint, in at the tackle. And Mann in again. We know what George Mann can do. Not in favourite lead, snapped up by Alex Murphy. And they do him a good job. Martin slips it to O'Neill. O'Neill being dragged towards the Warrington line. Saint still in possession. Last tackle of the sequence. 27 minutes gone, 28-0. The ball to Newell, he chips it, it's on the last tackle. Well, it was kicked through there, and the referee, well, I don't know what he's ruling there, but it should have been play on if it was still on the 6th tackle, but that's why we're up here, Jim, and Russell Smith's down there.
That's right, he's given a knock on, I think, Ron. Hume again, using the narrow side, on this time to George Mann. Warrington not having too much of the ball, and they're not actually seeing out the 6 very often. Let's hope they do this time for the Warrington supporters watching this video. On to Breeze again, Breeze to Shelford. But St Helens coming in so quickly, and Warrington losing the ball again. Pass inside. It's on to Carl Hammond, I think, and St Helens really going to score yet again. It's Carl Hammond. St Helens 32, Warrington 0, and so many things have gone wrong for Warrington. Not seeing out full 6 at all, losing the ball on the far side again, some powder puff tackling, and Saints have scored now 6 tries, is it, Ron? Or is it 7? 6 tries in the opening half an hour. St Helens 32 points, Warrington 0, so Warrington really under the cosh.
Yeah, they certainly are, Jim, and it must be a sickener for you. But Warrington, oh dearie me, what a sad sight. Especially, you know, you build yourself up, you're just getting a bit of your composure back after obviously a bad start. You know your team's not that bad, Jim, but when they come up against top-class opposition here, I'm afraid they're under the cosh. 32 points to nil. Golding, does he like that? Oh yes, oh no, up the bar and bounces out. So just 32 points to nil. 30 minutes gone. I heard you say about obviously Warrington handling, Jim, and they don't really know what to do with this, unfortunately, do they? It's just not going right. You get games like that when everything goes right. I mean, your passes stick and everything, but it's just not sticking today. The Wolves will get possession. 10 minutes of the first half gone. It'd have been a cricket match, I think we'd have declared.
I think you're probably right, Ron. I say it would be nice to commentate with you when St Helens score less than 40 points. Andy Norby coming on. I think it's Leedham coming off. Andy Norby on for St Helens, 32 points to nil. The Warrington really are playing for nothing more than pride. I can't see Warrington winning this game now, even only after half an hour. So Lacey Fino comes out, but certainly for Warrington, the tackling bags have got to come out midweek, because the wire tackling really has been poor. The Wolves tackling, I should say, really has been poor. And what a tackle there from Tommy Martin. Matt Foster. And Warrington not really in this game at all. George Mann moving forward. But the tackling from St Helens really is a feature. With the ball in their hands, it looks as if they can score at any time. Sculthorpe. Crowd shouting that Saints are going to Wembley. Of course they are, to meet Bradford Bulls. This time a kick ahead by the Warrington fullback Chris Rudd. Goes into touch. So Warrington in the Saints half of the field for the first time in 10 minutes, Ron. And with 6 tries in 30 minutes, how many more are we going to see?
Well, maybe tighten up a little bit now. Obviously Rudd at fullback, Vagana in the centre, where I think he may operate a bit better than at the fullback, for a class player that he is. Saints with head and feed. Martin, drop off ball to Haig. Warrington take it up. Roper the man there, just short of the line, Jim. And pressing Sculthorpe at dummy half.
What's Sculthorpe going to do? But Saints screaming out to meet George Mann. And the referee, when I said screaming out, they must have been offside. And the referee's going to give a sin bin decision here. A professional foul. It may well be Paul Newlove. In fact, it is Paul Newlove. Doesn't like it, but he's going to have to go. And that was a professional foul. He stopped Paul Hume playing the ball quickly. So St Helens are down to 12 for 10 minutes. Newlove comes off, got a one-rounded blow, and that was a professional foul. Warrington have been close on scoring on a couple of occasions. For the Warrington fans watching this video, let's hope they can score now. They certainly need it. 32 points to nil. Warrington using another side. Onto Roper. Roper still going forward, just pulled down short. 2 or 3 yards short. Warrington now in attacking formation. Onto Salesi Fino. In fact, it's Vagana. Not even Vagana, it's a Tupper. I'm getting these plays really mixed up. It's going to be Paul Hume going on his own. Good tackle on Paul Hume. Pushed back 2 or 3 yards there in that play. Shelford, a long pass onto Shelford, and Warrington have lost it again. Back in the hands of the Saints player. Looks like Bobby Golding, so really Warrington had chances then, but didn't take them.
Yes, Warrington trying too hard, the cut-out pass. Golding came up with it, played it to Sullivan. Sullivan moving over there from the left to the right. Andy Norby, obviously looking for a regular first-team spot back again. He was in the starting lineup at Wembley last season, but most of this season been on the bench. Warrington penalised. And just hearing you saying, Jim, if Warrington can get a try, obviously for the Warrington speckies that are going to watch this video, I think it's going to be X-rated as far as at the other side of Great Sankey. But once again, Chris Joint in the wire 20, in the Wolves 20. Saints again across field, down to 12 men. Sullivan can't take it. A speculator there for Carl Hammond. You see the grimace on his face. Obviously one man short on this side. You've got to watch Saints with 12 men. Jim, they're deadly. That's the pie eaters.
I know this, but I think in fact I think, in fact, Hammond was looking for Paul Newlove then, but he wasn't on the field, of course, because he's been sin-binned for a professional foul. But you're quite right. Saints, playing with 12 men, are deadly. So the back goes down. Warrington can calm it down a little bit. They certainly need to do that. Sculthorpe takes it himself like a rugby union forward, like a rugby union number 8, but he's a rugby league player. This time it's Richard Inari. Good break from Inari, still going forward. Difficult to put down. He wants to get into the action. He wants to get on the trials. Penalty. A bit of a twist up there, I think, between Morley and Inari, and Warrington take it quickly. On to Shelford. Shelford going towards the 22. The Saints haven't scored for 5 minutes, Ron. Warrington's chance. Breers this time. On to Bagana. And Bagana loses the ball again. And how many times are we going to see this? He seems to take his eye off the ball. He was looking at the Saints player coming in to tackle him. And Warrington really have not seen out, I don't think, one set of 6.
No, I don't think they have, Jim, but obviously frustration setting in, isn't it? Hanari here just having a bit of a tangle with Chris Morley. Human Newlove having a tangle up down here before, and then they had a tangle near the line, which Newlove was in the sin bin for 10 minutes, and he still is, like. But Morley coming through, is it there? No, Andy Haig copping one just slightly above the shoulder. Nothing malicious. Andy Northey up to the halfway line to Tupu and Chambers. In with the tackling. Hammond up the blind side. Russell Smith organising the line out there. Saints play it quickly. Cunningham. Once again it's Hammond looking for the runners. Exposing gaps in the Warrington defence with regular monotony. Last one of the sequence. Golding from Northey. Golding finds touch in the bottom corner. That's a good kick under a lot of pressure, because the plan didn't go to plan there. It came to Northey, then it went inside to Bobby Golding. He got the kick away, scrum down, 20 metres in, 10 metres from the Wolves line. Warrington head and feed, 3 minutes to the interval, and they'll be glad of the half-time. Lemons, won't they? The Wolves, the Saints won't be.
Yeah, I think the Wolves are going to have a good talking to. They must do by Darryl van der Velde. They've got to really stiffen up this tackling, because this game really has gone away from them now. They are only playing for pride, I think, even now. After 37 minutes gone, they're 32 points to 0 down. But they want to make some ground. They want to score before half-time. Here's Fee now, taking the Saints back on his own. Taken down by Andy Northey, by Prescott. And Warrington really at 6s and 7s. There's no real line out there. As Chris Rudd goes forward, tackled just by the centre spot. 32 points to 0. They want to score just before half-time. Warrington do to give them some chance. That's taken by Richard Inari, and he's a flyer. Inari coming inside again, does well. Taken out by Bobby Golding. Paul Hume, who's the referee, going to talk to Bobby Golding. Warrington have taken it quickly. Remember, it's 13 to 12. Onto Sculthorpe, trying to get inside the 20. Play on. That was obviously ripped out. George Mann onto Inari again. Takes it well. Will Inari score? He comes inside. I think really thought Inari was going to go straight and probably score in the corner there. But Warrington have got chances now. Onto George Mann. 13 against 12. Lining up now in attacking formation. Getting up slowly, however. It gives Saints a chance to regroup. Onto Shelford. Shelford onto Breers. A long pass. Taken this time by Torquay Love, who will score in the corner. That's Warrington's first try. Coa Love, who we did think had come off, but he's obviously come back on again. Warrington 32 points, St Helens 32 points, Warrington 4. That was only wishful thinking on my part. So Warrington there, 13 against 12. Just on. And in fact, Ian Knott's come on. Warrington using the substitutes a lot now. Ian Knott, I can say. I'm sure that's Ian Knott. Or no, in fact, it's Breers, I think, is it? Is it Breers? Getting whistle. It's Lee Breers, just signed, of course, from St Helens. A very difficult kick for him. A couple of yards in from touch, but that was a good try for Warrington. The Lee Breers to take the kick. A lot of noise here. Floats it in. Just to the left of the post, and that's a half-time hooter. We said that's what Warrington wanted to do, score just before half-time. But 6 tries to 1, and really, Warrington have reaped a whirlwind run.
Well, they certainly have, Jim, but listening to you obviously saying about 13 players to 12, judging by some of the decisions Russell Smith there, even though we was 32-0 ahead, I think we're playing 14 to 12. But there it goes, half-time score at Nosey Road, 32 points to 4.
Welcome back to Nosey Road. St Helens in the lead by 32 points to 4. One wonders what Daryl van der Velde has said to Warrington at half-time. But the Wolves are 28 points down. They've had a few chances to score some more tries. Not done it as yet, only scored 1. And it's taken immediately by Sir Lacey Finau. Tackling good from St Helens there. I'm saying at half-time, good crowd here, about 10,000 we think at Nosey Road this afternoon. And they really have been treated to a marvellous display from St Helens. Warrington as yet not really got into the game. To Tupu, but they're making good ground forward this time. Paul Hume at dummy half, using the narrow side onto Chambers. Chambers this time onto Shelford. Shelford still going, eventually put down. Just inside the Saints half of the field to Tupu again. Good half break there from Tupu, making good ground forward. That's the last tackle. Looking for Shelford here, who probably will kick. And a kick into the box. In fact, that may well go dead. And that's what Andy Prescott did. He shattered that ball over the dead ball line. That'll be tap on the 20 run.
Yes, good work there. Steve Prescott just guided it to dead. And Prescott coming again. And Matauti on for Chris Joynt at half-time. And Andy Northey up there. 32-4 your half-time score. Still Saints down to 12 men. Paul Newlove for at least another minute, I make it, before he's back on the pitch. Hammond, Haig. Tight tackling by the Wolves as Cunningham down the short side. Cunningham again. Hammond persists down the blind side, chips it through, takes it well. Couldn't control it, flips it up. Road has it, and is immediately bundled to the ground by Cunningham. Well, there's nothing wrong in that, referee. What? He's having a word with Cunningham. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, dearie me. That wasn't upside down, man. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know your views on that, Jim, but I think he got that wrong.
I thought it was a perfectly fair tackle, hard tackle though it was, but the referee, right on the spot, gave the penalty. And it's on this time to Chambers. Sir Lacey Finau going into Saints territory. Put down there by Andy Northey. Gets up a little bit gingerly. Paul Hume on this time to George Mann. George Mann spinning round. Newlove waiting to come on. Of course, he was sin bin for 10 minutes for a professional foul. On again to Shelford. Shelford this time onto Toa Koilov, the Warrington try scorer. Tackle there just about 9 yards short of the 20. Warrington would love to score again. Shelford onto Schofield. Offside by... not by much, only about 5 or 6 yards, I would imagine, Ron. So Saints back in possession, but very much offside there, Ron.
Well, he is, and he doesn't need to be, does he? Because he's such a speedy wingman. But yeah, clearly offside there. We got done like that at Leeds with Paul Sterling. I mean, we got beat at Leeds 13-12, no sour grapes and all that. And on the night, I thought discipline had let us down. But obviously the referee only gets one bite of the cherry. We only get one bite of the cherry. But viewing it again, we was robbed at Leeds. Penalties galore by the referee, Mr. Connolly. That actually plotted our downfall as it happened. But there we go. Here ended the first lesson. Andy Northey driving the ball up. 8 metres inside the Warrington half. The sun comes out. Hammond takes it well. Morley on the opposite diagonal, draws into the defence, turns, twists. Well, nothing in it there, but the referee moves in. New Love obviously back on. Saints to the full complement. They take a quick tap. 32-4 the score. No scoring so far in the second half. Julian O'Neill juggles with it. Saints again. Cunningham, Hammond. The runners there. Haig still driving. 5 metres short. Cunningham left. Northey changes direction. Down with the shoulder. Drives it in. Quick play the ball. Golding running the angles, drawing the runners in. Lovely ball to Newell. Out to Prescott. Oh, it's easy. Great work there, finish off by Steve Prescott. In for the try at the corner, the quick transference of the ball. Saints back to the full complement with Newell on. Great work there, finished off by Prescott. Andy Haig taking it down here. Seemed to walk through the feeble Warrington tackling at will. Cunningham puts it out wide. Taken by Northey. He came back in. No way for him again. But the Warrington defence have been drawn in, and Golding running the angles, running across. Lovely ball there to Newell. He took the tackle, slipped it to Prescott. And there we go. Great stuff, another 4 points. We were a bit behind in the scoring rate there, but it's come back as Jim ruefully looks at me. 36 points to 4. 45 minutes gone. Golding composing himself just outside the 20, 8 metres in. Strikes it well. Oh, that's a superb goal. Kick by Golding. Once again, Jim, Saints persisting down the blind side here. There was no way through for him, but the defence was drawn in. Then it was slipped out, and another 4 points converted to 6.
Yeah, another great try for St Helens there. 38 points to 4. They're in the lead, getting further ahead now as Golding kicks off. Good goal from Golding as well. It wasn't an easy one. It's certainly taken by Sculthorpe. Onto Fee now. St Helens chase is good. And Fee now met by a reception committee just 10 yards out. Warrington knock on again. That's going to be a scrum down, and really nothing going right for Warrington at all. That was the second tackle. And Fee now had made a good drive forward. A knock on from the play the ball. St Helens again, deep inside Warrington territory, and the tackling's going to have to be good again.
Yes, and Hume throwing the ball away in disgust. I know it's obviously frustration. As Golding gets the original match play ball back. 10 metres from the Wolves line. Blindside ploy. Hammond out to Sullivan. Had to take it a little high. Jinks back inside and now takes the tackle. 3-man Wolves tackle come in there. And Sullivan taking the full force of that tackling, obviously. O'Neill. Saints line out. Golding. Reverse angle pass into Matautia. Taken well. The Wolves read that situation well. Once again, Saints will move it across. They're running this Wolves side ragged. Hammond, short ball to Morley. Good tackling there, excellent tackling on this occasion. Kelly Shelford, the man there. Martin. Golding. Northey. Well, that's a little high, nothing in it like last one of the sequence. Cunningham, short ball to Hammond. That's easy. Haig's in. Haig into the corner. Andy Haig makes it 42 points to 4. It's 8th try of the afternoon, and we've only had 8 minutes gone of the second half. Great work there. As you can see, the ball going over to the far side. Golding puts it back inside. Northey takes the tackle. Cunningham scampers away as only he does. Slips it to Hammond. Short ball to Haig. And that's Taters again, isn't it? Another 4 points. Can we get a full 17 on, we ask? Of different players. Golding. It won't float in, I don't think. No, just to the right of the right-hand post. But 42 points to 4. And Saints must be sick of kicking off, mustn't they? No wonder the ball's been deflated.
Thanks very much, Ron. And Bobby Golden with a rueful smile on his face as he runs back after missing that goal. But he's kicked 5. We've got 2 footballs on the field at the moment. Hopefully all of them are inflated. Which one's staying on? A lot of fun around at the moment. Everybody laughing except the Warrington players, I think. Saints 42, Warrington 4. With half an hour to go. Golden again. Rubber kick this time. Taken well by Breers. And it's on to Tutupu. Tutupu running on the narrow side, taken out by Carl Hammond. This time it's Mark Foster. Offside, says the referee. Penalty to Warrington to reduce the pressure. Good kick by Breers, getting booed every time he gets the ball, quite naturally I would imagine, as an ex-St Helens player. The referee this time receiving one on the head. Chris Rudd. Warrington deep inside Saints territory, the first time this half. Onto Chambers, onto Finau. Finau gets the ball away. Dangerous play there from Shelford, but he did well in the end, and it was taken well eventually by the wire number 16. And that's Richard Inari. Warrington inside the Saints 20. 42 points to 4 down. Surely just playing for pride now, but spinning this ball along well. That's onto Richard Inari. In fact, it's Toa Love this time. Always get those two confused. Chris Rudd at dummy half. Shelford. Kick ahead by Shelford. Taken well. Well by Danny Arnold. St Helens back in possession, deep inside their own half. But as I think we've found this game, they can score from anywhere, Ron.
Yes, they have done, Jim. I'm very pleased to say, obviously you are not. Speculated there from Bobby Golding. Taken well by Tommy Martin, my word. He'll probably bless the captain for that after. But marking up quickly are the Wolves. Cunningham pushes Lee Breers off. Cunningham still goes again. And the wire are containing the Saints there. As Arnold running crossfield. That's good tackling, but it slipped to Matautia. That was great tackling by the Wolves. Saints have got to play it quickly. 3 Warrington men behind the line. Out to Newell. The inside ball there to Steve Prescott. Prescott again. Oh, lovely ball to Golden. It was forward. It was forward, Jim. They had meant to murder the Saints with 3 men over the Warrington line, but the pass was forward, right in line with us. And it's just a pity that the referee was in the right position as well.
That was good play from both sides, actually. Some very good tackling from Warrington there. But Saints really broke out with a vengeance with Matautia. And Warrington really were short. It's on to Toa Love. He's got a bit of space in which to move. Gets it back on to Shelford. Shelford going in the box. Good tackling from St Helens there. Very good opening to this second half. Saints have scored twice, but Warrington looking good. Getting the ball on this time to Bagana. Bagana trying to get the ball away, but he can't quite do so. So Warrington deep inside Saints territory. They're going to be a try here. That ball goes loose. Knock on, scrum down. No intent in that tackle whatsoever. And the referee again right on the spot. And I think Warrington are going to bring on Warren Stevens. I'm not sure who's coming up. He's having a chat there with Paul Cullen just below us. But that's a scrum down. 42 points to 4 in favour of St Helens with about 28 minutes to go here. A long time to go in this game. And Saints, in fact it's Matautia this time, pushing off Sculthorpe. Matautia does well from that scrum run.
Yes, breaking from the loose forward position there, Matautia. Now it's with Morley, lovely ball there to Andy Haig. Support from Johnny Arnold. And Arnold down the wing, turns inside. Support there by Cunningham, short ball to Haig. Haig breaks through. Breers takes him. Norby's there. Oh, that's a try and a half. What a try. Andy Norby under the sticks. Well, what rapturous applause round this Knowsley Road arena as Andy Norby finishes off with a flourish. But what a try there. Saints were well contained in their own 20. Then the scrum down. Matautia broke from the base of the scrum. The wire tried to come in and take him. The ball was moved over quickly. Norby involved again. Onto Morley. Short ball to Haig. Haig again tripped it out to Arnold. Down the popular side touchline. Arnold Goal back inside again. A speculator there. On to Haig again, and then support from Northey, and didn't he like that? He puts the welly down as Golding converts it there. Under the sticks, Golding converts it. What a try! Super score for the Saints. 6 points and yet another name on the score sheet. 48 points to 4. 14 minutes of the second half gone, and the wire to receive again.
That really was a super try to watch, one of the best I've seen this season. The feature of it was very good backing up from St Helens, but Warrington guilty of not clamping the ball. Breers takes that well, and to Gary Chambers, coming just outside the 22. Paul Hume, on this time to George Mann, but Warrington really are out of this game now by a long way. Using the narrow side this time is Paul Hume, going on his own, spinning around. Good tackling there from Matautia. The referee has given St Helens offside. Paul Sculthorpe takes the kick very quickly indeed. That puts Warrington inside Saints territory. They have looked good with the ball in their hands in the second half, Warrington, but Saints have hit him with 3 tries. And Saints really have only had the ball 3 times and scored 3 times. This time it's Warren Stevens, centre field. Real good run there from Stevens, good driving in. I'm going to say taking in an upright tackle, but he's put to ground in the end. Warrington inside the 22. Breers this time on to Shelford. Shelford sees a gap himself. He can't quite get through it. There's Carl Hammond, number 6 on his back, but playing it loose forward. Puts him down. Sculthorpe again. Good tackling from St Helens. Warrington really not making much ground now, but they're only 5 yards short of the try line. Breers, kick ahead by Breers. Taken well by Prescott, but Prescott goes into touch, so that'll be a scrum down with Warrington's head and ball. I don't think the referee's given an offside decision. It will be a scrum down, so Warrington have got chance to put more pressure on the St Helens line as the packs go down. And it really has been a tremendous game of football this afternoon we've seen, and St Helens have put on a top-class show for their supporters. Breers at scrum half, gets the ball away, but St Helens come out quickly. On this time of Chris Rudd, coming up from the full-back berth to try and make the extra man, but he's surrounded by Saints players. Warren Stevens again. Stevens put back. St Helens tackling inside their own 22 is a joy to watch. Breers, Warrington spinning it along. That's a difficult one to take, but it's taken well. Anthony Sullivan does the business for St Helens there. Warrington still using the narrow side. Onto George Mann, this time back onto Breers. And it's Paul Derbyshire who's on for Warrington now. I'm not sure who's come off. That's 4 gone in this play. Warrington have not made any ground forward whatsoever. Shelford, Foster will score, I think, as he put into touch. I think he may well have scored. Has the referee given the try? Yes, he has. So Warrington have another try. St Helens 48 points, Warrington 8. And that was Mark Foster on the left wing. Went straight. Good wingman's try. Warrington having a good set of 6 inside the Saints 22.
Games he played for the Saints. Standing in for the suspended Robbie Golding, he kicked 24 goals. He scored 1 try. So he's no mean performer, but maybe obviously mentally and what have you, he's up against it today, playing against his old side. But Saints have the possession, looking for the half century, and I think we're going to get that easily with the 22 minutes of the game left. Danny Arnold coming off. Saints still have the possession. Cunningham, Julian O'Neill. The high tackle rule there. Paul Anderson on for Danny Arnold. Saints find touch just inside Warrington territory. Paul Anderson on. First touch. Lee Breers there just taking a knock. Saints moving it down that new love wing. Slips it to Sullivan. Sullivan shimmies. Dummies to give the ball to Prescott. The wire tacklers take him. Martin. Anderson. Oh, great tackle there. Super work. Martin sees the gap. Short ball to Golding. Golding to Cunningham. Well, the referee has said something. Well, he said the ball was knocked forward. Obviously out of our eye line there, Jim. Eyes like the proverbial you-know-what. But anyway, scrum down, head and feed to the wire.
So some good tackling there from Warrington. As Lee Brace comes off, he's got an injury. He's got obviously a leg injury. And I think Ian Knott's come on for Warrington. Warrington not having much luck with the scrum halves at all at the moment as Lee Brace come off. And Duffy, of course, has a broken leg. Not for his first touch, just outside the 22. Does well. Some good tackling there from Andy Northey. Paul Hume onto Shelford. Shelford this time onto Chambers. Chambers can't quite get the ball away. But St Helens coming in with a real vengeance at the play of the ball. Warren Stevens back on the field. Centre field, bit of an elbow forward there, we think. Still holding on to the ball. Bit of line on there from Saints. It's the last tackle. Shelford will kick. In fact, he doesn't. He floats the ball on. That'll be a scrum down and knock on. Saints head and ball. Nothing really happening for Warrington, but they have scored 2 tries and 2 good ones as well. It's going to be the turnover. The Saints back in possession.
Yes, thank you, Jim. On the last tackle there, a turnover given with Warrington losing the possession. Andy Northey, scorer of the last Saints try. Hammond onto Matautia. Cunningham scampers away. There could have been possible infringement at the play of the ball, but the referee played advantage. Julian O'Neill moves it crossfield. Cunningham again, Golding along the line, back to Golding. Alderton Newland gently on that left wing, turns it inside. Prescott linking up again. Down the short side, Sullivan has it. Can he stretch? Is he in? The referee's there. He isn't. It's last tackle, is it? Turnover. It's the turnover, Jim. Warrington have the possession.
The Saints looking for the 50 there. They don't make it. Offside decision given by the referee. Saints 48, Warrington Wolves 8. Bit of relief for Warrington there. But the tackling has been better in the past 5 or 10 minutes or so. On to Chambers. Chambers first man in. Had a good game as Chambers. Paul Hume. This time it's on to Chambers, his front row partner, Warren Stevens. Young 19-year-old. Derbyshire. Good tackling on Derbyshire there. That was John O'Neill. Or Julian O'Neill, should I say. Shelford this time. Shelford on to Sculthorpe. Had a fairly quiet game as the Warrington loose forward. Really been tackled out of it. Good tackling there as well. Warrington using the narrow side. On this time to George Mann. George Mann can't quite get away. That's the last tackle. That ball's gone loose. What's the referee given? The referee's given a penalty to Warrington. Paul Hume puts the ball in touch immediately. The crowd don't like that, but Warrington have another 6. And Chambers goes into the box, spins around, gets the ball up to Hume again. Stevens, and that ball's knocked forward. Taken this time by Paul Sculthorpe. Really, I thought Warrington should have had 6 again, and in fact they have. And this time it's Nigel Bagana. Bagana going forward this time. Is he going to score? I think he may well have got over the line. If he has, that's his 8th try in 4 games. Referee gives the try. Nigel Bagana for Warrington. That really came after Warrington having another 6. And that's Nigel Bagana's 8th try in 4 games. For the score, Warrington 12 points and Helens 48. As Warrington walk back slowly now to the halfway line. They're going to have to kick off, of course. That's going to be Chris Rudd to kick the goal if he can. So a little bit better for Warrington in the second half. And that floats to the left, so Warrington have scored 3 tries but have not been able as yet to add a conversion. St Helens 48 points, Warrington 12. It looks a little bit better than it would have done, I think.
Well, obviously better for you, Jim, but there again we know the firepower of this Bagana, as it proved there, stepping out of the tackles. Warrington's 3rd try, but as you say, unconverted. Newlove takes it from the kick-off. and taken down, and Hume and Newlove sparring up again. Obviously things have carried on, but George Manning there at the tackle. Hume's going to be spoken to. Going down with the elbow. Well, I mean, let's be fair. If he's going to, is he classing that as foul play? Obviously not. But Newlove and Hume having a little tete-a-tete in the first half. Newlove simping for 10 minutes. It's good enough for Newlove, it's good enough for Hume, as far as I'm concerned. Paul Anderson looking to squeeze it out. The ball comes out, it went back. Cunningham moves away. Cunningham looking for support. There's Golding, there's Chris Morley. Morley breaks up. Hammond's there. Hammond to Martin. What about that? Superb score by Tommy Martin. His second of the afternoon. 10th try. Good work. Saints exploding again from deep and putting the ball through many hands. Golding converts it. Another 6 points to the Saints. 54 points to 12. (54-12). Saints break the half century. Great work there. Over 11,000 here, so obviously it is a local derby. Great game, and a lot of support following the Saints, and obviously following the Wolves with a 3-match winning run, which has come to a rather abrupt end today, Jim.
Abrupt is probably the right word. 11,609 to be exact, Ron. Good crowd here, seeing a marvellous game of rugby, and a really good performance from St Helens. 10 tries they've scored against Warrington, but we've seen 13 tries in all, 3 for the Wolves as well. Warren Stevens. That's confirmed, as you can hear over the tannoy. Sculthorpe on this time to Toa Koilov. Richard Inari. Warrington still spinning the ball around onto Sculthorpe. Good break by Sculthorpe. Gets it onto Knott. Warrington spinning it along. And it's a knock-on. A knock-on again. So Warrington really, I don't know, they had a chance there that I think was Paul Derbyshire who knocked on. So it's going to be a scrum down again, Saints head and ball. And I'm sure Saints would like to add to the 54 points they've scored. And my goodness, how many points have they scored against Warrington in the past 2 years? A heck of a lot. And a lot today as well. To Bobby Goulding, Saints head and feed. Just on the 20. And it's in the arms this time of Martin. Martin trying to get away, but a good tackle by Chris Rudron.
Yes, the wire there, they're a depleted side, obviously this afternoon, tired. Leatham going to be brought back on for the last 11 minutes or so. And Julian O'Neill, the man, going to be replaced. Bobby Goulding over to the left, draws the man in. Bobby Goulding chips it through. Rudd takes it. And the wire back in possession. As I said, Leatham back on. Julian O'Neill comes off.
So Warrington's 3-match winning run comes to a grinding halt here at Knowsley Road. And so many times this really has been a graveyard for the Wolves. And yet again this afternoon. In patches they've played well. In patches they've tackled well, but it's not been consistent. Is that going to go over the try line? Yes, it is. Richard Inari chasing that. Got quite very close indeed, but Steve Prescott shattered that ball over the line. And Saints to tap on the 20.
Yes, Jim, obviously difficult when you come here and you get your bottom slap, 54-12 at present with 10 minutes to go. As you say, you look about last season. A narrow 1-point win for the Saints at Wilderspool, 25-24. And then obviously when Saints secured the Super League title here, 66 points to 14, the centenary season. We lost at Wilderspool, 28-16, won handsomely here, 54 points to 14, and then in the Regal semi, as you don't want reminding of, that 80-point-0 drubbing. So Saints, yes, taking a few points against the wire. Last one of the sequence, Saints in possession. Golding puts a tester, rubs underneath it. Vagana takes it, it goes back. That'll be all on, and the Wolves have possession.
I wonder whether Golding's going to do that at Wembley as he did last year so many times. Knock on. Warrington lose the ball on the very first tackle. In fact, put pressure on themselves, and Saints are going to scrum in. It's going to be their head and feet just outside the 20. It's 54 points to 12. They're going for the 60, I think, Ron. As the ball, as the backs go down, and Golding to feed.
Yes, the popular side faithful, and no doubt all round the crowd erupt. On the blind side, Hammond! Inside ball to Sullivan. Sullivan in and out, going for the line. 5 metres short. Quick play the ball, Hammond sees the gap, puts it out to Anderson. Cunningham inside to Anderson. Anderson for the try. Once again, the Saints go over, and it's Paul Anderson, young Paul Anderson, in for the 4-pointer. Hammond, lovely ball inside there to Sullivan. He shimmied past, he nearly got in, he was 5 metres short. Then the ball, Hammond, all down on one knee. Anderson handles there, then to Cunningham. Anderson backing up inside on Cunningham, a lovely inside pass. And obviously a few Wire fans must be tripping away, doing the old Wigan walk, and the popular side choir just wishing them a farewell journey. Golding converts it, his 8th goal of the afternoon. 60 points to 12. So after 2 indifferent games, the Saints hit back in great fashion. The Wire have the possession, 7 minutes left. They'll be glad to get in the bath, won't they?
Certainly will, as Gary Chambers comes off and shakes hands, in fact, with Anthony Sullivan, of course, scored the opening try. Alan Hunt, sorry, scored the opening try for St Helens. Difficult to commentate at the moment because there's so much noise in this crowd. Good tackle there on Warren Stevens by Andy Leadon. Warrington in possession. What's the referee given? Not playing the ball properly. Penalties to St Helens. Working well with the touch judging concert there. What will Bobby Goulding do? Surely he'll tap it, and he has done. And it's on to Matautia. Matautia still going forward, eventually put down. But St Helens now are just midway between the 22 and the halfway line. It's Carl Hammond. Carl Hammond going forward. Pull down eventually. Is it going to be? Ball raked out there, Ron. The ball's raked out, so it's another penalty for St Helens, and surely Bobby Goulding will tap again.
Yes, let's hope he will, and let's have a bit of flair that we've had all afternoon. It was raked out, the referee was right there. Nordy, the first man in, head down, drives it in. Toa Coilov, a little high. Morley, well, keen work there. Saints move it crossfield. Martin, Anderson, 10 metres from the Wire line. Golding once again, reverse pass to Cunningham. Looked a little high, the referee moves in. Penalty to the Saints again, keep them down. Hammond will take it. Saints will run it again. Northey looking for his second. Hammond. Matautia from short range. 4 round him. They hold the big Western Samoan up. Golding takes it. Well, he doesn't take it. He's hampered a bit. Saints come up with possession. Andy Leatham, but it's going to be a knock on. Warrington head and feed. I think today, Jim, it's just been a case of race horses and cart horses, unfortunately, as far as you were concerned. 60-12, 4 minutes left.
That's right, and Saints' handling has been a joy to watch, to be honest. But sometimes the Warrington tackling really has let them down. And there's a break this time from the Warrington loose forward from Paul Schofield. Nobody with him at all. And a very good tackle from the Saints fullback Steve Prescott. But Warrington want to get on the over the try line again. Super tackle from Anthony Sullivan just as Ian Knott was trying to get that ball away. On to Fee now. Warrington inside the 22. It's 60 points to 12. They want to try and make it 60 points to 16 or 60 points to 18. Nigel Vagana scored the Warrington third try. On to George Mann. On this time to Shelford. Shelford trying to get away. Still holding the ball. Paul Derbyshire this time at dummy half. Referee telling Saints to stay on side. Warren Stevens coming in, trying to get the ball away, but it's in the arms. Someone looks quite certain that is. But Saints back in possession inside the 20 with about 3 minutes to go, Ron.
Yeah, Chris Morley took it well there. Now it's with Paul Anderson. Great work there from Sculthorpe. He's not really he's not exploded at all, has he, today? He's an excellent forward, a real hard competitor, a tough nut. But Warrington this afternoon, just a very lacklustre performance. 60-12 the score, 3 minutes to go. Still time for more tries. Hammond out to Haig. Breaks off one tackle. Lots of good clamp tackle by Coelho. Well, he took the ball 1-1, did he? He must have done. And Coelho. Morley comes in a little high, but Coelho's still going.
The referee playing advantage. And he's going to have a chat, I think, with Andy Northey. Was it Andy Northey? Chris Morley it was. Also having a chat with the Warrington captain as well. But that was a 1-1, certainly the ball was taken. Paul Newell just announced as man of the match, and he certainly deserves that. But for my money, Kieran Cunningham has been the best player Saints have had, with a very good performance from everybody. But Kieran Cunningham, perhaps we shouldn't single anybody out from this lovely performance from St Helens. But anyway, it's Paul Newell. Congratulations to Paul Newell, the man of the match. Only a couple of minutes to go here at Nosey Road. Warrington want to score again. On to Shelford. Shelford can't quite get away. He's just tackled short. A couple of minutes to go. Long pass. On to Foster. Foster will score. Very easily done indeed. And the referee awards the try. So with just a couple of minutes to go here, in fact only 1 minute on the clock, Warrington have scored the fourth try of the afternoon. That was a fairly straightforward one. So it's 60 points to 16 at the moment. Fortnight's time, of course. They're down in London at Wembley, spreading the word abroad about our game of rugby league, the best contact game in the world, and they're playing the Bradford Bulls. But they're playing the Wellington Wolves today. As Knott just puts that to the left of the posts. And in fact, that's the final action of this game at Nosey Road. St Helens 60 points, Warrington 16. Warrington gets some pride back with 4 good tries this afternoon. But St Helens has scored 11, if not 12. Congratulations to your side, Ron. A very good performance indeed.
Well, it was a good performance, Jim. Thanks very much. Obviously nice to get back in the full swing after 2 indifferent performances, as I keep saying. We're away, well, it's a home match next week, but we're away at Liverpool, at Anfield, the final game before we go down to the Twin Towers. So we'll play Castleford at Anfield next week. Big joyous Saints today, 11 tries, 8 goals from the trusty boot of Bobby Golding. 10 different names on the score sheet. Hunt, Newell, O'Neill, 2 for Martin, Sullivan, Hammond, Prescott, Haig, Northey and Anderson. Your final score here at Nosey Road as the both teams trip off for a well-earned shower. 60 points to 16. You've been with Micron. Join us for the next game.